Once upon a time, in the vast land of Nigeria, there were three major ethnic groups: the Igbo, the Hausa Fulani, and the Yoruba. These groups, though sharing the same country, had distinct cultures, traditions, and histories. The British, who had colonized Nigeria, paid little attention to these differences. Instead, they ruled in a way that favored certain groups, particularly the North, which was predominantly made up of the Hausa Fulani. The British believed this region, with its large population and strong political structures, was easier to manage. After Nigeria gained independence in 1960, the deep divisions between these ethnic groups only grew. The northern leaders, having more political power, began to dominate the government. The southern regions, especially the southeast where the Igbo lived, began to feel sidelined. The Igbo people, who had once been hopeful for a more unified Nigeria, began to sense that they were being left out of the decision-making processes. They felt betrayed and unheard. Years went by and tensions rose. The federal government was largely controlled by the North, leaving the South with a sense of alienation. The Igbo in particular felt that they were being treated as second-class citizens. But nothing was more unsettling than the political climate after the coup of 1966. It was in January of that year that a group of young, mainly Igbo officers staged a coup against the government, overthrowing the leadership. The plot was meant to bring reform, but it went terribly wrong. In their efforts to take control, many prominent northern leaders were killed, and the coup quickly turned into a bloody and divisive event. The North, shaken by the loss of its leaders, sought revenge. Just months later, in July 1966, a counter-coup, led by northern military officers, was launched. This time, many Igbo military officers and politicians were killed. The violence that followed led to chaos, with Igbos across northern Nigeria being targeted in horrific massacres. The horror of these attacks sent thousands of Igbo people fleeing from the north, desperately trying to return home to the southeast. As the refugees flooded into the southeastern region, the Igbo were consumed with fear. The government of Nigeria, now led by General Yakubu Gowon, did little to stop the killings, and tensions continued to rise. The southeast, led by Colonel Odumegwu Ojukwu, felt increasingly threatened. The Igbo people, seeing no future in Nigeria and fearing for their survival, made a bold decision. On May 30th, 1967, Ojukwu declared the region's independence and named it Biafra. The declaration of Biafran independence was the final straw. The Nigerian government, led by Gowon, refused to accept it and saw the move as an act of rebellion. In response, Nigeria launched a military campaign to bring Biafra back into the fold. What followed was one of the bloodiest conflicts in African history, the Nigerian Civil War.
The war aim of Biafra is purely to prevent ourselves being slaughtered, nothing more. We haven't got the sophisticated war aim of Nigeria to conquer, to overrun, to...
For nearly 3 years, from 1967 to 1970, Biafra fought fiercely to defend its independence. But the odds were stacked against them. The Nigerian government imposed a brutal blockade, cutting off essential supplies like food and medicine, leading to widespread famine. Biafran civilians, particularly children, suffered immensely, their plight becoming a symbol of the war's devastating toll. Despite the courage and determination of the Biafrans, the war ended in 1970 with the defeat of Biafra. Nigeria was reunited, but the scars of the war would remain for generations. The causes of the conflict, the ethnic divisions, political struggles, and the fear of annihilation served as painful reminders of how fragile national unity could be. Thus, the story of the Nigeria Civil War is one of a nation struggling to balance unity amidst its diversity. It was a war ignited by both old wounds and new betrayals, leaving a country forever changed by the fires of conflict.
And if anybody is going to judge our success and failure in this war, it will have to depend on how much we have prevented the enemy from killing us.